Our next presenter is Tyson Blazer. Tyson's in his 4th season as the catching coach for the Yankees organization. He played collegiately at the University of Iowa for me. He signed with the Yankees in 2011. He played 4 seasons in the Yankees organization, getting all the way up to AAA. Tyson finished playing in 2015. From there, he coached 2 seasons at United Township High School in East Moline. And he's been with the Yankees. He's coached AAA at Scranton, and then the last 2 years, Staten Island. And in the off-season, he gives hitting and catching lessons in the Quad Cities at Legend Baseball Softball Academy. And you can find him on Twitter at Backstop Sports, so at Backstop Sports. He puts a ton of good content out, so he's a great Twitter follow, especially for catching, younger catching. He's really good on the youth side with youth catching. Let's welcome Tyson to the stage.
All right, guys, let me start by just saying thank you to Ryan. I go way back with Ryan, like he said. I was with Ryan at the University of Iowa. Absolutely amazing person. Does a lot for the game of baseball. Loves his guys. We talk a lot. So he gives back to the game of baseball. Great person, great position for him. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I want to thank the ABCA as well for letting me come up and to do this and talk to you guys. Before we get rolling here, I just want to talk and say that, I'm with the professional ranks, but I do a lot with the youth. When I come home in the off seasons, I run individual lessons, group lessons. I got a group catching program. So we do a lot with the younger guys. That's where my passion lies. I really like the idea of being able to give back. So you're going to see all these videos. They're going to be guys from 8 to 15 years old. Okay, so these guys are working. So hopefully you guys can take these ideas, use what I'm going to talk about today to work 15 minutes of practice time, or take 15 minutes of your practice to work on catching. Okay, work it into your practices, and I'm going to talk to you guys about how to do that, what that looks like. I'll share today some of my core beliefs on what the catching should look like in terms of receiving, blocking, and throwing. All right, and then we'll get into the fun part. I'll go through some drills, some more of the basic drills, and I say basic, and I'll touch on this later, but basic because once we teach them and we tell them, our kids, what exactly we want from them, they can go ahead and do these drills by themselves. Okay? Because I was a high school catcher, or a high school coach, and when I was coaching guys, I didn't do a very good job with my catchers, admittedly. And I was a catching guy, I had a catching background, and I didn't do a very good job with it. When I left, I felt like, okay, I needed to be better there. So I've looked into that, worked with some travel organizations back home, and put some practices together. So we'll talk about that as we go along today. So let's get it going. What makes a good catcher? There's plenty of things out there, I got a list here. You can read them up there. Smart, flexible, quick feet, tough, leader. You can add to that, right? There's so many things we can add to that list, all right? But the question is, how do we go from a high school level catcher? This guy's been with me a couple years now, just going to be a freshman this year. All right, fairly polished, does a nice job, good glove actions, to a freshman at Southeastern Community College. Been with me now three years. Pretty clean, big guy, nice actions, pretty polished. But then you can see the jump to one of the best receivers in all of baseball, Austin Barnes. So how do we get there? There's a natural progression. All right, you go back there, you do it enough. Okay, you're going to start to get better. All right, but there is no secret. We practice, right? You practice and you'll be Austin Barnes. Okay, probably not, but, all right, we're gonna work toward that way. All right, some guys just have the natural ability, like to catch a baseball like Austin does, all right? But here's the big question, all right? We practice. I'm not talking about infield or outfield or hitting. We're talking catching specific. So why don't we practice? I mentioned it. I wasn't very good when I was a high school coach of working in the catchers. It's hard. There's a lot of reasons we don't. Why don't we practice? Plenty of excuses, okay? Not knowing how to fit it into the schedule. Not knowing how to attack the work. I get that. How do we go about it? What does it look like? Where do we find the time? How do we fit it into the schedule? Finding the time to do the work, okay? We're gonna cover this. There's time within your practices to fit in that work. It may look a little bit different. We're gonna have to get creative with it, but there's plenty of time to work that extra 15 minutes of time in so our catchers can get better, okay? Or not knowing or understanding the catching drills as a whole. I get it. The catching fraternity is fairly small, okay? There's not a lot of guys out there that spend a lot of time behind the dish, especially into college and into pro ball. All right, so if you're on Twitter, you can see some drills and some really good content on Twitter. I love, trolling around on there and looking for new things. But a lot of times you might look at a drill and you're like, that is awesome. That is a fantastic drill. I want to implement that. But that's like the third installment of a progression to get to that point. So now you're skipping step 1, 2, and 3 and going straight to 4. Okay, so hopefully today I'll give you guys some basic progression drills that you can continue to add on and put within your program and that your guys can do. That's the key there. Okay, and then lack of a specific understanding of the position, which we just covered a little bit. My goal of the presentation for you guys, okay, I want to share my core beliefs on the catching position, receiving, blocking, throwing, kind of what I believe in for those 3 main parts. I want to equip you guys with some practice to incorporate 15 minutes of catching time. It's not that much. But when you're putting a practice schedule together, you realize that 15 minutes, hard to find, hard to cut out. All right, and then I want to share my basic everyday drills to aid in that development, which is the fun part at the end. All right, so what's most important when we're looking at this stuff, guys? I broke it down to, these blanket categories: blocking, receiving, plays, throwing. Plays is kind of encompassing everything that we're going to do, maybe first and thirds, block recovers, bunts, plays at the plate, all the fun stuff that we don't need to practice that often. So what's the most important thing we're gonna do right off the bat? We're gonna receive the baseball. Gotta be able to receive the baseball. I don't care how old you are. All right, if you gotta run back to the backstop every single time, that's not fun. And guys just go, 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 go. All right, so now we've caught it. We also got to block it. If we can catch it, we can block it. We're keeping the ball in front of us. We're already going to be better than most of the other guys out there. All right, so those are my two huge ones. Finally, throwing. All right, throwing at the younger levels. I don't put a lot of stock into it. I don't want to know what your pop time is. I could care less. I want to make sure we're working on, good feet, good hands, being athletic. Because on the throwing side of it, as you go up, the running goes down. I know at the younger levels, it's almost a merry-go-round. They're going to get on first. They're going to steal second. They're going to steal third. So once they get to third, if we can receive it and we can block it, we can keep that guy from getting home. All right? And then last, plays. All right? Plays is one of the more easy things we can work into our practice plans, and I will talk about that extensively here coming up. But unless I can do the first 3 things, I don't care how good you are at running out and catching, or grabbing a ball and throwing at a different arm angle and throwing that guy out at first. I could care less. We got to be able to receive it, block it, and throw it. The reason that these are most important, guys, the game tells us. The game tells us. It dictates. All right, this is for our rookie ball level this year in Staten Island, the team I was with. Okay, I had catchers from 18, 19 years old up to 23. So at our level, we had 76 games roughly. We received about 75 balls, okay? Got to us, caught physically in the glove, or got a glove on. All right, so we blocked approximately 5 balls with runners on or with 2 strikes. All right, and then we approximately threw roughly 1 time a game. All right, so you can see the numbers there. 75, 5, and 1. Receiving is the most important, okay? Followed by the blocking, followed by the throwing. All right. Now, I understand these splits do go down as we get younger and younger and younger. All right. But when those guys are just running, a lot of times it's not going to be the catcher's fault they're stealing. All right. It's because the pitcher takes forever to get home, or he's not throwing very hard. He's throwing balls in the dirt. So there's a lot that goes into that. All right. So the game tells us, go ahead and spend the time on the receiving and the blocking. Yes, the throwing is fun. I love throwing guys out. I think everybody loves throwing guys out. As we get older, you'll throw more and more guys out, especially if we attack it the way I will talk about here in a little bit. So I'm going to go through and talk about some common receiving problems, blocking problems, and our throwing problems, and then I'll give you my core beliefs. So when we're receiving, common problems here is we're going to work up to down. All right, this guy's been with me for a couple years here in this first video, and he has a very, very hard time going up to down. Our pro guys still have a hard time going up to down. All right, so you're going to see in a lot of our videos, my videos here, I start with the glove on the ground. We're promoting working up to the ball, all right? But you can see him, he comes up, he goes down, he pushes the ball on the ground. How many times you go watch a youth game and that guy pushes the ball straight in the ground on the catch? See it all the time, it drives me insane. All right, because all we're doing is just throwing a guy back there and he's not working on anything but trying to catch the ball. All right, so put some of these things into place and they're going to be able to catch the ball a little better. But I see this problem all the time. All right, stabby. All right, yes, I'm making up words here, okay? But you can see this guy's going to work out to the ball, okay? Puts him in a very weak position. When we get extended, we get very, very weak. All right, I know some guys like to get extended on catch. Some guys are going to work back on catch. To me, that doesn't necessarily matter. We need to be in a strong position when we catch. And if we get extended before catch, you're weak. You know, I always do something with my young guys. I tell them to extend their arm, and I take my pinky, and I can push them down. Because when you get extended, you are weak. Now, you get a slight bend in that elbow, you try to push them down with one finger, you can't do it. All right? So you can show them, hey, we can work to extension if you want, but we can't get extended too early because that's when we get stabby. And then poor setups. These guys, young guys, right? They just started with me. I got a group of 4 of them. I said, get in your stance. And this is what it looked like. I will clean this up in a few weeks and a few more lessons, but it's like, okay. You know, they don't have any idea. So we got a little bit of poor setups. We'll fix that. But I see that so much at the younger levels. So how do we, combat that? Well, we teach. All right, and these are my core beliefs of how I like to go about our teaching. An early target and early setup. I don't care about giving away location or pitch when you guys are at this level, all right, because our pitchers aren't good enough to throw it there anyways. All right, so make sure we get set up early and we have a nice low target, all right, because if we got a low target, now we're promoting working up to the ball. Everything wants to work up to the ball. If we're working down, we're not strong enough, especially as you get into the high school levels. Now we have to break bad habits. All right, ground up, okay? Ground up, get the thumb down, get the glove down, whatever you guys want to use for your verbiage. I like to say thumb down. Get your thumb down on the left hand, pointed down on a clock, roughly 6 o'clock, right? And then we can work up to the ball. And that's why we work on the ground for a lot of these things. And then stick it. Now, stick it is a kind of a loaded word here, because then you look at guys trying to stick it and then they get stabby. I say stick it, and then I use the analogy of giving a handshake, right? When you go to give a guy a handshake, you're not going to attack that guy and get out here and shake his whole arm and attack him, right? And you're not going to let that guy come in here and give you a handshake, right? We meet that guy in the middle, we give a handshake nice and firm, and we make eye contact. It's also a life lesson you can teach these young guys, right? How to shake a hand. Because that's not a very, not a lot of guys can do that at the younger ages. So teach them how to shake a hand, tell them that's what we're looking for. Meet them in the middle, eye contact, nice and firm, but we're not attacking, we're not too hard, okay? So blocking, common problems, trying to catch it. How many times we try to see young guys try to catch the ball? Now he's over-exaggerating this, I told him to try to catch it, but nobody wants to block the ball. I played professional baseball, I didn't want to block the ball. All right, you're gonna wear one off the wrist or something, and it doesn't feel good. But it's what we have to do. So let's put ourselves in the best position to do that, because when you do this, you're gonna get hurt. I see guys go up to down. Watch his head, he's gonna come up before he goes down. Takes time, okay? And a lot of times when we come up and we go down, it puts us in bad body positioning. You can see here, he kind of turns the shoulder here. That's just one. Guys get really narrow, bad body position, wear it off the arms. Guys get too far bent over, off the face, okay, or miss it completely. So make sure we're getting into good body position and centering it up. So our blocking building blocks here, get your glove there. Get your glove to a spot, okay, get it to the ground. Our hands are gonna lead, so I put it there, lead hands, lead them, get the glove down, body follows, okay? Glove there, get it to the ground. As we get it to the ground, body will follow. I put knee or knees down. I challenge you guys not to be rigid in the way we look at catching. Catching is evolving. There's different ways to go about it. I caution you just not to go to Twitter and say, I'm going to make everybody do that. Okay, do your homework. There's plenty of things out there, but don't be rigid. Be open, all right? Because especially with the young guys, I like to put a knee down, all right? Because I showed you earlier, bad setups, they happen all the time. You put one knee in the ground, especially with nobody on. These young guys who might be a little bit weaker, okay, with their legs or bad mobility, they got a knee in the ground. Now, the strongest thing we have underneath of us is the floor. So now we're putting ourselves into the floor, we're not going anywhere, all right? So when we get to our knee down block, we're gonna go and we're gonna push off that right big toe or go this way and the left big toe, and we gotta get a knee down. If we can get 2 knees down, great, fantastic. If you can get 1 knee down, fantastic as well. Because our glove is there, our shoulders are square, we're gonna be able to put the ball in the middle of our chest. All right? Now, if we get 1 knee down and guys are getting in bad positioning, we gotta talk to them, okay? But don't just yell at guys and say, you gotta get both knees on the ground, okay? Because do they? I don't necessarily believe so. Throwing, all right? How many times do you see this one? I told him to over-exaggerate here, but this huge step coming out, and he's going to chuck that guy out at second base, and he throws the ball about 15 feet in the air, and then it comes down like a rainbow right on the base. All right? Young guys, I want to see this. I want our foot down quick. I want us to be athletic. I want to get it down so I can throw the ball second. I would rather a long hop to second base than us take that big step, shuffle, and throw a grenade. That doesn't do me any good. And you're not setting those guys up for success as we move forward. All right? Reaching. How often do we see guys reach out for the ball? Either with their hands or with their body. We start reaching. We're in bad position. It's going to lead to a large step or an extra step or a false step, or however you want to classify it. All right? And then, guys, the young guys, I always see this, just being robotic. Okay, we're doing a drill here, and so he's just flipping his feet and he's stopping. No, we want to be athletic. I try to stay away from speaking a whole lot about footwork. I will today, but I want to put them in a position where they can use their athleticism. So I teach quick transfers, making sure our feet are underneath of our body, loading up our hip, and letting the ball travel. All right, loading the hip may seem a little bit advanced, but it's not. Because if we let that ball travel and we're being short with that first step, when we come here, now we're going to be sitting in this hip, we're going to be loading our hip, we can attack. And I'll show you a drill to help facilitate that as we go along, but it's very similar to hitting or throwing. We got to be able to get those hips loaded because that's where our power is going to come from. I don't care if you're 4'8" or 6'3". If we can get into a good position, you're going to be able to throw the ball. Our body's going to work better together, okay? So now, how does this look in practice? How are we going to implement it? Okay? Finding those 15 minutes. Well, 3 minutes every day in catch play. You should be playing catch every day. Should be something you do. I'm sure you guys have got throwing programs. All right? If we can put together a good throwing program, okay, 3 minutes of that at the end, we're going to work on our catching plays. Okay? That means for 12 minutes, all we have to do is find 12 minutes throughout practice. All right? And that's where we get to be creative to figure out how you're going to do that. So here's a couple practice ideas, practice plans. Feel free to take a picture of this. These are very generic, okay? Not very creative, and we'll talk how we can create within this. But this is kind of what I ran at high school, a couple days during the week. We could throw this out there. They knew what they were going to doing. All right? But you notice on here, no catching time. This is my downfall, right? I told you about it in high school. I wasn't very good at it. There was no catching time. So where's the time? It's there, okay? It's everywhere. We just got to find it. And we got to figure out how that looks and where that looks. All these are spots we can work our time, our catching time. We can work it in these spots right here, okay? So before I jump back into that, let's look at what our catch play may look like. They were talking about creating a drill set, the last two speakers. Awesome. Create a drill set. My guys know this. Right? These are plays that they're going to be able to do in the games that we don't have to necessarily waste our practice time. Yes, there's certain days, sure, that we need to maybe go on the field and do these, but we need to be able to say, hey guys, today, we got a card, right? Either your head coach has got it, maybe you give it to your catchers if you got catcher specifics. Today, at the end of catch play, guys, we're gonna do bunts with runners at first and second, we're gonna go tag plays, and we're gonna do or die bunts working on different arm angles. They know. Boom, boom, boom. So they come back in to 60 feet, 30 feet, okay, depending on the age, and then they're going to work through these plays at the plate, going to work through it. You can do that every single day. So now those guys are working and they're getting catching time in every day of practice. 3 minutes is all it takes. And it's already built in, so there's no reason. This is where the rest of the time comes in. Here's a generic 2-hour practice plan. Easy, arrive early. 5-10 minutes, get them through an active warm-up, and then you can go ahead and take them through drills. Whatever your drills may be for that day. You can see the rest of the guys are coming in at 5 and stretching. So when they're done stretching, catchers just jump right up into that and they go into base running. All right, because I like base running. Base running is fantastic. All right, I don't think we do a good enough job of teaching it at times. So we always did base running every day. But that didn't mean that sometimes you can't pull your catchers out and they're not going to base run that day. Okay? If they don't base run that day, it's fine. You're going to be able to split that time up. You're going to get your 12 minutes there. Okay? So you could do it early, or you can do it during base running, or split up individual D. I always had an individual D time. I know at the younger levels, it's like, all right, hey, we're going to have a station in the corner, center, right, and then the infield. And you're just going to rotate around. Okay? Get a lot of reps in. Don't specifically say you're outfield, infield. Just let them go around. Do everything. But then we tell them, hey, when we get to our last rotation, catchers, jump out. You got 5 minutes down the left field line. 8, 9, 10 minutes, whatever you can work in. You can work that into your transition times. You can see on here, individual D plays right into our drink time, our transition time. That gives us a few extra minutes to either clean up or get a couple minutes more of working with our catchers. All right, so it's there. And then use hitting time. I love hitting. Okay, everybody should love hitting. But when you got 45 minutes worked into a practice or 35 worked into a practice, that's one thing that these guys work a lot. They're probably going to leave your practice and go to an individual hitting guy anyways and get more swings. So when you're at practice, it's okay, maybe that last station, that they go off to the side and they get in their work. All right? Because then you can also work after practice. All right? The easy one. And then this is a very generic practice plan. I get it. But these are always ways to fit in that catching time, because it is neglected, okay? Implementation, here's our drill card. This is what drill card that I've created so our guys know. Feel free, again, take a picture. These are all a whole bunch of drills. Now, I wouldn't suggest you make a drill card that looks like this, no, because there is a whole bunch of drills on there that we have spent a long time creating and our guys knowing, and they know the specific goals of each drill. All right, but if you could get 3 or 4 of these and you talk and we go through it with them, now we say to them, hey, when we get to our practice time, right, before practice, after practice, okay, during individual D, during hitting, whenever that is, whenever you decide to put it into your practice, you say, catchers, hey, we're going to go receiving heavy day. We're going to go A, B, C, and D on our receiving card. They're off, and they know. Hey, we're going to go receiving blocking today. We're going to go CD on the receiving card, and we'll go AB on our blocking card. They know. They can look at it. Boom, boom. They know those drills. They know exactly what they're doing. Hey, we're going to go throwing heavy day. You give them EFG, all right? And it may be daunting at first, but once they get into this and they start rolling, they know it, they take ownership of it, and you love it, okay? Because now you've got those guys teaching, all right? And when you teach is when you become very, very good at something, all right? Talking up here today, talking about catching, well, because I teach catching quite often. So it's in your brain, you know it, you're doing your research on it. So when these guys start teaching others, they start retaining and they know it and they get better at it. So here's some partner drills. This is the fun part, right? We get to talk about our drills. You're gonna see young guys here, okay? 11 and 12 or 13, okay? They're gonna go through a partner roll progression here, partner low ball progression is what I call it. You can see the different baseballs up there. I've got heavy balls, I got light balls. All right, we'll play it through one more time. You're gonna roll the ball to each other, working again from the ground. You can see he's on 2 knees here. Easy, right? Start from the ground, emphasize hand, work up to the ball, thumbs down. All right, he's doing a 1 knee to show you the next step of this. He's into a receiving stance. All right, then you can go into your ready stance if you need to. But rolling the ball back and forth. Second part of this, now you go to a short hop progression. Okay, and when they short hop it back and forth to each other, that ball hits and it's coming up. So now we're just gonna work from the ground. We're just gonna catch that ball on the way up and just let it ride it right back up into the zone. So our thumbs down, and then we're working up to the ball. Here it goes. All right, a little short hop. These guys are young guys doing it together. You can do this. They can do this. All right? They've done this enough, so they're fairly decent at it. With that last progression too, then you can go to your ready stance, all right? And then you can also throw the ball real low at the knees, so they have to work under it and you don't have to bounce it. So that's the next step to that, all right? But those are drills they can do together. Here's small ball. I love the small ball receiving, especially with the young guys, not as much as with the older guys, but the young guys, because it's a hand-eye coordination. I don't care if you're an infielder, outfielder, catcher, all right? Hand-eye coordination, be able to work our hands together, all right? So the first one of this, we're just going to be throwing it to him, working. Now, you can see he's working on top of it there. He tries to make the adjustment the second pitch. Quiet the body a little bit if we can. We want the body quiet, hands straight to the ball. One movement, see it, go to the ball. All right. The second part of that is then you start throwing knee to knee. All right. So now we have to move. And I don't want big movements with the body. I want to be short and sweet with the hands. Here it is, the Crossfire knee to knee. Go back, a little bit extra movement. Then we go quick toss. Okay. Add that in quick. All right. So now we're progressing. We're progressively getting harder. And if you want to add to that, then you can go quick toss knee to knee. Okay. And you can see he's in a ready stance there. Again, you can start it on 2 knees, then go to 1 knee, then go to your ready stance. All right? Pump fake. Easy drill. Says a lot. Guys love to cheat. All right? With this pump fake drill, when they throw the ball, okay, and they go here, we're throwing. Now, when we pump fake and you see that glove start to come up, okay, we know that we are cheating to the ball. We're cheating the drill. All right, so anytime you're doing a drill, it doesn't have to be a pump fake specific drill, okay? We toss them the ball, and if we throw a pump fake in there, so they start moving, we know they're cheating to the position. They're cheating to the spot. All right, I tell my guys, see it first, glove second. That's where we get this movement, and then we come back on top of it. So glove down receiving, I think I've touched on this. I love when our guys work from the ground and they come up. You're gonna see he's got a right knee down, left knee up. This is where he feels comfortable. I challenge you guys to allow them to be comfortable, put them in comfortable positions and see then how they respond to that. And then we got a steep downhill receiving. Again, the different plyo balls here, heavy, light, normal, small, big, trying to get them to focus in and control their move, all right? Because if we can't control the baseball, it doesn't matter. So again, I'm standing on a bucket, okay? My older guys, I stand even higher, but we're throwing the ball straight down. And they got to work from the ground up, okay? Thinking again, thumb underneath the ball, working to the ball. So progression, perfect catch progression here, guys. Work from the ground straight to the ball, okay? Here you can see he's going to catch drop. We're going to drop 3, okay? And then we're going to catch 1, drop 1. And then we're going to go ahead and catch them all. Allow them to try to find the pocket. Young guys, if they can't catch the ball in the pocket, they can't get the ball in the pocket, we're going to be in trouble. All right? So get them to put the ball in the pocket. You should be able to hear that, right? That pop of the glove. Love it. It's great sound, but it also tells us if we're in the right position. So work from the ground up, okay? Drop 3, catch 1, drop 1, and then catch. You can go 5, you can go 7. It's up to you. See how they're doing if they're struggling. 3-style buffet, I like this one. We're gonna work from the ground up to the ball to catch, then we're gonna be showing it, we're gonna work down to the ground and work up, and then we're gonna be regular. Allowing them to self-orientate and self-teach, all right? Knowing the different movements they can make and what feels good for them. A lot of times they'll find their own timing mechanism within this drill. These guys have been with me a couple years. All right, they do a pretty nice job. Our blocking drills, I think I mentioned earlier, nobody likes to get hit with balls. All right, nobody. So we got to put them in a good position to be successful, put their head in the ground. I use ATEC balls. I think they got I know, I was on the trade show floor. They got a demo over there. Go check them out. That's what we use. They're fantastic. All right. If you don't block it right, it will sting, but it's not going to hurt you. All right. So we put the eyes down. All right. And then we dial up the machine. You can throw. You can get really close. You can throw it off. I'm getting them to feel at least comfortable blocking the ball correctly. So we're putting them in a position of success. All right, then you're going to go ahead, eyes are going to follow it in, they're going to block. Eyes follow it in and block. Then you can add to that and get up and go a straight down block if you'd like. All right, but again, easy progression. We're working through it, and working to a place where we can be successful as catchers. Here, roll blocks. I love roll blocks. Again, We're not hurting the guys. They're not scared of it. And we can promote a few things. Get the glove there, get the glove down. Hands lead, get glove down. Hands lead, get the glove down. We're going to work a pattern. So you say, hey, we're going to go middle, left, right, or middle, right, left, or right, left, middle, however you want it. And after they get that and they're moving pretty good, then we just go random roll blocks. We roll one right, two left, one down middle, get them reacting, get them moving, get the hands there. All right? Point blocks, okay? So I picked this drill up at CatcherCon not too long ago, and I love it. It's fantastic, fantastic drill for the young guys. Put them on their knees, and then you're pointing. Okay? So you point. Which way they're going to go, which way they're going to go. All right? They're going to throw the hands there. They're going to get there quick. We're leading our hands, getting the glove there. Lead hands, get glove down. Lead hands, get glove down. All right? So you point. You can tell them we can go. They can follow you. You can put two guys together. It's awesome. You put a young guy there, and the young guy can mirror it. You can be out there pointing, okay? But these are all ways that they can get these done very, very, very quickly. All right? Hands lead. When we're doing this, guys, I love it. Again, promoting hands, right? These are our building blocks to success of blocking. So our hands are going to start out, all right? Then your body follows. You're going to push off that opposite big toe. You can do it each side. Start it out left, start it out right, start it middle, all right? And this doesn't have to be a controlled drill. You can do your blocking off the machine. You can throw it off, throw it yourself, whatever it is. We can do it right here, all right? And promoting good positions. Knee reaction blocks. So now we're progressing. We're getting better. All right, you're going to start on your knees. This is in my catching program on Sundays, and I've got I think a 12-year-old behind him doing the tossing, and he's catching. So on the knees, we got the gloves low. I was telling my guys, if it's below the glove, you turn it over and you block it. Okay? If not, we're working up to the ball. All right, and then you're going to see, right? We're catching, we're going to turn it over, block it. Now you can get up into a receiving stance. I don't do it here, but a blocking receiving stance, you can go ahead and do that right now if you need to. So you can add that in as you go. So we're continuing to add more and more and more and more. All right, so these are some really good blocking drills to go through. Throwing drills. All right, everybody, this is the bread and butter now. Everybody loves throwing drills. And you can see as I go through this, guys, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about our footwork at all. All right, that will come later in the slides here. But I don't talk a lot about our footwork. I want our young guys to be athletic. All right? If you look in the big leagues right now, there's quite a few converted catchers because they've got good hands and they got really, really good feet. All right, some guys that get back there and they're there for a long, long time. All right, we get set in our ways of doing things. We take away some of their athleticism. All right, they are confined to some of these absolutes of the catching position. All right, so again, I challenge you to open your minds to that. Allow them to kind of self-orientate, self-teach. So this throwing drill here, it's a glove progression. I've got all sorts of different size gloves, big, small. This is the paddle glove. I don't know, I'm sure some guys got the paddle glove for infield work, whatever it is. I use this when we do our sideways knees here, because the reason I do it on the sideways knees here is I want to throw it at the right shoulder so that they can push it to the hand, set them up for success. If you're doing a paddle glove and you start in the middle of the body, you start on the left side, it doesn't do anything, because we're going to start reaching with our right hand. We want to take glove to hand, and we want it somewhere on this right side of the body, from shoulder to hip. Okay, so this is going to promote that. We'll go small glove, paddle glove, small glove, normal glove. All right. Notice here, just telling him to get the ball out as quick as he can. Again, starting with our knees in the ground. Why? All right, because I don't necessarily care about the footwork right now. I want them to be able to get the ball out, know what that feels like. Went to the small glove. All right, and now we go back to our big glove. You can see pushing the ball into his right hand and then extension out front. Does a really, really good job here. There's a small glove. All right, All-Star, that's the super small one. I got really advanced names for these gloves, right? Paddle gloves, super small. I got a small glove. I got a heavy glove and a donut glove, all right? I get pretty crazy with them. But all these are leading to our next progression, right? Angled knees. We're angled. When we go to throw the ball to second base, we get to this position. Okay? So if we can start ourselves in this position, now we're also going to promote quick, short feet. So if we start at an angle, now they have to start closing off the shoulders, which we do here. We'll start them in the angled knees. Now you have to close off that front shoulder, get the ball out quick. And when they close off that front shoulder, they also push that ball to their right hand. And when we get that ball, we're taking glove to hand to throw. All right, then we're going to go ahead and stand in the 45, and our feet are set. Same concept. Now we're starting to get the whole body rhythm in. All right, and then lastly, you go ahead and you add the short feet. Now, when I added that short feet in there, guys, I didn't tell them. I said, hey, your feet are going to do this. I just said, hey, just move your feet as quick as you possibly can and throw here. All right, and I want it super short. Up, down, throw. And then this is the result. All right, this is not coaching. This is the first take. All right, we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. We just said, do it. These guys, they will figure it out themselves. Shortstop footwork, absolutely one of my favorite drills. I do it with our pro guys. All right, I'm not telling him what his feet need to do, but if you go and watch guys turn double plays on YouTube, this is roughly the footwork, right? And we put them behind the plate. That's what it looks like. But then all of a sudden, we start telling guys, you got to step here, and we got to put the left foot here, and you get super robotic. We're taking these large steps. I'll take our guys out to shortstop, and I'll be at second base, and I'll feed it to them, and they just catch it. They turn their feet, and they're ready to attack. There was no coaching here. I'm not coaching feet. I'm letting them know. Get that right foot down, attack. Get that right foot down, attack. Get that right foot down, attack. So then what this looks like when we actually start talking about footwork is it's going to be here. All right, easy drill, get a piece of string, a pitcher band, whatever you guys want. I put it across, I put it on buckets. Right now it's string across the entire cage. But you put it right about the front part of the plate. You can put it way out in front as well. If you know, younger guys, maybe a foot, 2 feet out in front of the home plate for your 8, 9-year-olds, okay? Because they are going to gain a little bit of ground to get that way because they aren't strong enough to get there. All right, but what we want is, again, I didn't tell them about the footwork. I just said, hey, you got to throw this ball, get extension, get through it. Just don't hit the rope. All right, letting them trying to figure out their footwork without us having to sit there and drill it into them and tell them this is how you have to do it. Okay, let them kind of figure it out as they go. So I like that one. Flamingo Drill. Awesome names for my drills too. Right? Flamingo Drill. A lot of guys do this one. It's good. You can see he's getting to a balanced position like he is a pitcher. Okay? Getting, again, glove to the right hand, but that knee cheat, you can see the left knee start to cheat. I talked about getting the hips underneath of us earlier in my presentation. I said it was a little bit advanced, but it's not with this drill. We're standing. All right? Everyone feels more comfortable in a standing position, and he starts to cheat that left knee. There it goes, and it allows him to load that hip, and now his right foot's underneath of him, and he's ready to throw the baseball. You can always add a throw into this as well. All right, he's just posing here, getting that feel, but then you can add the throw into it as well. It's a really good way for these guys to start to figure out, one, how to kind of get that knee cheat, and then how to get those hips loaded. And then lastly, our step back drill. All right. I love the feedback on this drill. So it's like, hey, what'd you feel? I felt strong. These 8-year-olds are like, I felt pretty strong. I could throw it hard. It's like, well, we're in a good position. All right, so a little step back, short, little quick, quarterback drill you can call it. But when they step back, now they're loading. Just like they would if you're a hitter or a pitcher, they kind of get that hip load. They step back, they're strong on that right foot, then you can add in the throw. All right, and you can do this from the straight sideways position, or we can go out of 45 too. They gotta step back and they have to really close off that hip. So there's definitely ways to do it. They always talk about how strong they feel when they do this. And that's what we want. We want these guys to feel good. Again, when we went through all those receiving, I didn't talk a whole lot about our actual footwork. All right? In a perfect world, yeah, we want to go right to left. Then our left is going to attack and get us back on line. All right? But put them in a best position and they'll figure it out. So let me ask you guys this. What does it all mean? I threw a whole bunch of stuff at you. Okay? If you guys take anything away, please take this away. When you're looking to put 15 minutes of practice, the catching time into your practice, guys, just be creative. All right? Come up with an idea of how you want to do it. Create that plan. Put it into the practice plan. Have it well thought out. Know what you're doing. have talked about the drills so they know the drills, they understand the drills, so you're not asking them to do something they don't know how to do or they cannot do, and then take action. All right? Put it into play. Let it go. Yes, we're going to fail at times, but once we figure it out and it starts rolling, it's going to be at a very, very good position. All right? It only takes 15 minutes of practice time to improve your catchers. And I know that sounds nuts, guys, but if you're working 15 minutes a day, you're going to get better. So I went through a whole bunch. I get going, I start moving, start talking too fast. I get it. All right, so if you guys have any questions, I've got my contact up there. Write it down, take a picture, I don't care. Reach out to me, okay? I got a lot of stuff on Twitter that I put out there because I like to put a lot of my younger guys' drills on there. You're going to see all my young guys that I do stuff with and what we do, all right? And then these are both all my contacts, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But I love talking. I love talking shop. Love being up here with you guys. So, like I said, please reach out. Don't be a stranger. Again, I want to end by just saying thank you to Ryan and thank you to the ABCA for letting me be up here. You guys have a good day.